Hello, YouTube. This is Uncle Barrett tuning with you today, just doing some more brain dumping. Forgive me, I've been fighting a cold or whatever this is. I feel like I'm always been sick lately, but I didn't want to really wait any longer to kind of talk about a couple of important stories that's going around the net right now. Which is one is talking about Nico Iamaleava, former quarterback of the University of Tennessee, transferring to I believe UCLA, and then the Trump tariff war between the United States and China. And I guess I kind of wanted to start off by saying that, you know, I made a couple of other former videos talking about some dreams that I've had in the past. And honestly, if you're into dreams and, maybe dreams coming true or whatnot, I highly suggest that you go look at those because it's very interesting considering like what's kind of going on around the world right now in that aspect. But the next thing I want to say is hats off to Josh Heupel, the Tennessee head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers. Um, I know that was probably a difficult situation to address, but I feel like you handled it very nice. You sounded confident. You looked confident. And honestly, that's what we need right now. I mean, I've been a Vols fan my whole life, and so I'm used to seeing the ups and downs, and more so downs. I feel like than the ups, but um, you know, I think you're totally right. I think that you can look at this as an injury. I mean, because things happen in football, but you got to be you know transparent with things and kind of like keep it going. And so one thing that um, I'm not going to talk too much about the Nico Iamaleava situation. Like, I mean, the whole world has an opinion on that, on whether it was good or bad. I mean, me as a fan of Tennessee, I didn't like it. Um, but, if I'm in that situation, I mean, I can't say that I wouldn't try to get more money. I mean, if you thought you could, it's just the truth is him and his family overplayed their hand in the situation. And so when I think about that, it's, Scripture says that pride comes before a fall, and no matter what happens moving forward, people are going to remember this because his face and whole brand is tied around the University of Tennessee. I mean, when the NCAA was going to war with Tennessee, it was over Nico, and as far as like how Tennessee paid him and whatnot. And so I'm not. I mean, Nico shot his shot, and him and his family lost, and now I believe they're at UCLA. I don't really see the benefits of being out there other than that's just your hometown, and you want to rep your hometown, like your hometown, I guess. But I don't think you're going to get the same coaching. You're going from a offensive minded coach to a defensive minded coach. Your receivers aren't going to be as talented. But we'll see. I mean, you went for 4 mil, but to my understanding, got about 1.5 mil, maybe. It is more expensive out there on the West Coast, so good luck with that. But at the end of the day, I hope that me personally, I more so hope that the future NIL football players in college football, if they're looking at this situation, I hope that they learn to, the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and I hope that they just learn that, I mean, you may be in a good situation, but greed can, you know, um, walk you out of it. And so, me personally, like I said, I don't know what to think because it's like, dang, dude, like if you would have played your cards right, you could have been like almost like a legend here because, like I said, the state of Tennessee went to war for you. You know what I mean? Like not just the Vols in the school, but I'm talking about the state. They sued the NCAA on your behalf. That's how serious you were. I don't know if California would do anything like that. I don't know if any other state didn't do that, but that was my biggest thing. Is I mean, to me, this was a perfect situation where it reminded me of just today's culture. Like everybody's greedy, man. And I'll say it again. I don't know if y'all have seen that movie It's a Wonderful Life, but when I think about um, George Bailey, him trying to confront Potter, uh, Mr. Potter, you know, there's nothing wrong with getting more money, but I mean, it's how you get it, And I felt like he cheated himself out of a lot of potential money. Like if he would have came out this season and beat Georgia or something like that, I mean, he probably got more than 4 million. Like I don't know. It just depends on how you handle the situation. But from what I saw, I mean, he may have like all the talent or potential talent, but his head's not on right. You can be a good kid, but it takes a lot to be a quarterback. Um, you're like the leader, whether you want to or not. I mean, sure you can rely on other kids, but really those kids are looking up to you because you're the one that's calling the plays and setting the tone. And if you're shaky or not as confident, I mean, that might make them nervous. I don't know, but um, so yeah, like if you go back and look at my first video, I talk about just certain dreams that I've had that kind of remind me of the situation and why I think it's important during these times. But uh, I also want to give a shout out to President Trump. I know a lot of people have their opinions on whether somebody's doing something right or not. I'm just glad that I got a president that's actually trying to do something versus just stand around and act like they can't remember anything or whatever their problem was. And so I'm just glad those days are over because I was so frustrated. I'm like, dude, they're just letting everything just go to crap or whatever. But yeah, hats off to Trump. At least he says what he means and he means what he says, kind of a guy, and I'm cool with that as long as you are standing on it. Um, you know, it's been said that China's been ripping us off. I don't know. Um, but let's not act like the U.S. hasn't ripped off people either. So, I mean, like I said, I love my country and stuff, but I mean, there's always two sides to a story and stuff. And so, uh, but, the reason why I wanted to talk about these two situations and why they remind me of a couple of dreams that I had and that I described in my first couple of videos is, this Trump situation with China kind of reminds me of the buildup to why Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. Um, I like history. I don't know why Pearl Harbor always kind of fascinated me a little bit because it was just an interesting story as far as like how they got attacked, but also how they bounced back and really set the tone for a lot of wealth that was accumulated to the U.S. after that. Like, I believe after that, it kind of made the U.S. like a superpower at that point. But um, again, going back to one of my dreams, just kind of give you a brief, um, I guess, visual of it. In one of those dreams, there was a ship that was sinking, and before that ship sank, it was like the ship blew up, and the way that it blew up, it reminded me of, I think it was the Arizona at Pearl Harbor that got blown up, but it was just a huge explosion, and it started to sink like the Titanic. And even though they're two different stories, much like the Nico Iamaleava and the uh, Trump tariff war, um, they both are intertwined in somehow. And so let me explain. When I think about scripture, how it says that pride comes before a fall, um, the Nico Iamaleava situation to me represents pride. Like, I think I'm bigger than what I am. In fact, I mean, the whole name in itself, name, image, and likeness, you're kind of put a price on like the essence of you pretty much. And so that's just the age that we live in. But going back to the warnings of Nick Saban, was he right about, NIL being toxic for the game of college football or just college sports in general? Of course, you want your kids to get as much money as they can, especially before they kind of go into the real world. But I mean, I don't know. Like me, like I said, I'm like a real Falls fan. Like I mean, I've known them my whole life. You know, just watching them fail and fail and fail. Yeah, I still was a fan. And so for me, when things got uh, more hopeful with Hendon Hooker having the season that he had, and just the people who we were recruiting, I was like, man, we're getting close. Like having that winning culture back. But to me, the way that you left, it kind of reminded me of Lane Kiffin. That move alone set us back a while, and so just nobody's bigger than that power team, man. Like it's still a team game. I would encourage all players to not take on the mindset of Nico Iamaleava and let your pride mess you out of bigger blessings, pretty much. Um, right now, to my understanding, I've heard different things, but to my understanding, they're saying that Trump is winning the tariff war between China. But I wanted to say this: just because we may be winning, I would caution people to just be aware of your surroundings in these days. Literally, just pay attention to like what's going on around you because I can't explain it, but I feel like something big is about to happen. Um, when I think about that dream when the ship was sinking, it was like a hopeless situation. And you know, when I'm looking at how things are now, it's like we truly are just we're not in a good situation as a country. We could be a lot more better. And so I'm hoping that as you hear this story or hear my responses to these things, I hope that you take heed that I'm just trying to talk about these things in terms of related to like what times we're living in. Me personally, I feel like we're living in the end times. Um, I don't know. I just been kind of seeing a lot of things that kind of lead me to think that. But the other thing, Vladimir Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, a few weeks ago, he kind of had a bad meeting with President Trump, and he spoke his mind. He said what he felt about the situation. It just didn't come across well with the president or the vice president, or like, he kind of got ganged up on, pretty much. And but he said something in that meeting that I wonder why he said it, which was, you know, the United States has this big ocean around it, which kind of protects you from a lot of invasions. But one day you're going to feel the pain or wrath or whatever that they're feeling over there if we don't act now or whatever. And I think President Trump responded by saying, you don't know what you're talking about, like shut up, pretty much. But there's a reason why he said that. Now, I don't know what that reason is. I just feel like somehow he knows a lot more than he's letting on. And if somebody threatens me, I'm not going to take their threats lightly. I'm not going to just brush it off. In the back of my mind, I'm always going to be kind of watch you from a distance, like what do you mean by that kind of thing. That's just me. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. I've been trying to talk to people all along for a long time or whatever. It's like people shy or whatever. It's really weird. It's like I'll make a comment on somebody else's channel, and it'll be like there's a whole bunch of people trying to go back and forth with me on other people's platforms, but nobody really wants to, you know, actually have a conversation with me on my platform. So I'm just letting it be known that I'm down to talk. I don't want to necessarily say debate, but just have decent conversations back and forth on what you guys think about. I mean, all I can do is just give my opinions and just be truthful about either what I see or what I've heard. So we can just kind of talk about that. But yeah, shout out to Josh Heupel and President Trump. I mean, for what it is, I think you all are doing what you're supposed to be doing as leaders in your communities. And I would say good luck to Nico. I think I made a video. It was kind of more emotional. It was like one of those short videos, where I was kind of going off on him a little bit. But uh, best of luck to you, man. I mean, if you feel like the Bruins is a better fit for you and better for your family, I would say go for it. Do what you got to do. But hopefully, you learn as a man to think for yourself. Don't let people control your life like that, dude. Like I know that's your family and stuff, but I mean, you're a grown man now. Like you may be a young man, but you're still a man, and and you got to realize that family or not, sometimes people can mess up your blessings just because they don't know their role or whatever. So, anyways, man, just be blessed, man. Um, Hopefully the Vols can find a quarterback. I don't know who they're gonna get, but it's always gonna be go Vols for me. I'm always gonna rep Tennessee. And in the meantime, while all this chaos is going around, y'all learn to be kind to each other, man. I mean, I've just been looking around lately, and people just got attitudes, and they're angry all the time, and I'm like, just because, I mean, just try to give yourself a chance to have a better day. Is all I'm saying. But anyways, y'all take it easy. Hopefully, I can get over this cold. I feel miserable, but hopefully, you all are staying healthy out there, and um, just just making it through. Just keep on keeping on. So, y'all stay blessed. Stay prayed up. God bless.